I want you to picture a scene. Just put yourself right in the middle of it. It's late December 2025. You are standing on a busy commercial street in Mosterrad, that's in Shubra El Khaimah,
Right.
and it's cold. The air has that sharp winter chill. The street is absolute chaos. You've got cars honking, microbuses weaving through traffic, people rushing by, bundled up in heavy coats. It's loud. It's sensory overload.
Yeah, it's just a typical bustling Egyptian neighborhood in the middle of winter.
Exactly. And right in the middle of this block, there's a household goods store. It's brightly lit, packed with appliances, washing machines, refrigerators. And inside, it's warm. It's a refuge from the street. You've got customers browsing, staff walking the floor. It all feels completely ordinary.
But it's that ordinary feeling that makes what happens next completely jarring. Because the atmosphere in that shop shatters in an instant.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because suddenly, cutting through the hum of the appliances and the street noise outside, there is a scream.
And it's not a scream of fear. According to the witness statements, it was sharp, it was violent.
Yeah. The staff freezes. The customers just stop dead in their tracks, turning toward the back of the shop. There is this confusing scuffle. It's just a blur of sudden movement. And then a man stumbles out from the back office.
This is Ahmed al-Shahawy. He owns the place.
He does. And he's a pillar of this community. People know him. But right now, he is stumbling out of his own shop, clutching his chest. Blood is rapidly seeping through his shirt, staining it dark. He makes it out to the pavement, the cold air hitting him, and he just collapses.
The panic in the crowd is absolute. People are rushing to him. Someone is calling for an ambulance. But the detail that really locks you in, the thing you can't look away from, is the woman who walks out of the shop right after him.
She doesn't run.
No, she doesn't run at all. She walks out calmly. She looks at the crowd, looks at this dying man, and she claims self-defense. She essentially says she did what she had to do.
And as the sirens start wailing in the distance, getting closer, you might look at this and think, okay, a robbery gone wrong. Or maybe a sudden, tragic, psychotic break. But we're doing a deep dive into this entire case file today, and I can tell you right now, this wasn't random.
Not even slightly.
This was the culmination of a 4-year nightmare. Today, we are unpacking a very specific, terrifying dynamic. We're looking at the concept of Adam al-Shar.
The foot of evil. Or a bad omen.
Right. It's this cultural idea that some people, just by entering your life, bring ruin. They are a curse. And the big question we have to answer today is, how does a man like Ahmed, a wealthy, respected, deeply intelligent family man, let a bad omen into his life? How does he get dragged into a spiral of destruction that literally everyone around him saw coming?
It's a psychological puzzle.
Yeah.
Because on paper, Ahmed is the absolute last person you would expect to become a victim of this kind of targeted destruction.
Let's wind the clock back. We need to look at who Ahmed was before any of this started. Let's go to early 2021.
If you look at the baseline of his life in 2021, the man is basically untouchable. He comes from a very prominent, highly respected family in Mosterrad. They aren't just doing okay. They own multiple branches of these successful household appliance stores.
Yeah, and Ahmed isn't just a silent partner. He's the manager. He's the financial engine of the family business.
Exactly. He's financially very secure. And his personal life matches that stability. He's been married to his first wife for 17 years. They have 3 children together. He is deeply connected to his brothers. His whole life is built on routine, respect, and providing for others.
He's the classic fixer, the guy everyone else goes to when they have a problem.
And I'm so glad you used that word, fixer, because there's a huge misconception out there about how predators choose their targets.
You mean how we assume they only go after vulnerable or isolated people?
Exactly. We think they want someone weak. But highly sophisticated emotional predators, they actually target the capable. They target the fixers. Because a fixer has resources. A fixer has an ego tied up in being the hero.
Which brings us to Asmaa.
Yes, Asmaa.
Looking at the employee statements from the shop in 2021, her behavior is a massive red flag from day one. She wasn't just a normal customer popping in to look at a blender.
Not at all.
Yeah.
She was visiting the shop daily. And she wasn't buying anything. She was observing. She was watching the workflow, watching who was in charge.
Grooming the environment.
Yes. She would specifically dress up and groom herself to catch Ahmed's eye. She would bypass the other floor workers entirely. She would just wait. She'd wait for those rare moments when Ahmed was alone or less busy, and she would target him directly.
It's chilling when you realize what she was setting up. And then comes the trap. She finally gets him in a conversation, and she deploys this perfect custom-built
Yeah,
narrative.
damsel in distress.
Right. She tells him she's a divorced mother. She claims she's completely vulnerable, seeking protection. But she adds this fascinating twist. She doesn't say she's just a poor woman off the street. She claims she comes from a highly prestigious, wealthy family in the Manufia governorate, but she's fallen on hard times.
It's a brilliant psychological hook. By claiming she used to be wealthy and prestigious, she makes herself an equal to him in status, just temporarily down on her luck. She tells him she needs a real man to support her and protect her from the world.
It appeals to his ego.
Completely. It appeals to his ego, his chivalry, and his savior complex all at once. And he falls for it entirely. He decides to marry her.
Which, I have to pause here. This is the part that is so hard to wrap your head around. He has a wife of 17 years, a stable home, and he just pivots to marrying a woman he met in his shop.
It happens faster than you'd think. The documentation suggests he was probably feeling the friction of a highly routine life. 17 years of the same grind. And then as Asmaa comes along, and she is love-bombing him. She's making him feel like a superhero. It's an intoxicating high.
What about the first wife? How does she react to this sudden second marriage?
That's one of the quieter tragedies in this file. She is understandably shocked, devastated, but she makes a very calculated, painful choice. She chooses silence.
To protect the kids.
Yes. To preserve the stability of their home. She essentially steps back and lets him play out this fantasy, probably hoping it would just burn itself out.
But the fantasy doesn't just burn out. It implodes almost immediately. Because right after they get married, the mask slips. The whole foundation of lies Asmaa built starts to crumble.
Right, because remember that prestigious Manufia family she bragged about?
Yeah, the fallen nobility angle.
Well, Ahmed eventually travels to Manufia, and he starts asking around. And he discovers that her family is known, all right, but not for prestige. They have a notoriously dark reputation in the region.
The locals explicitly warn him. They tell him her family is heavily involved in Dashal.
Now, for anyone listening who isn't familiar with the cultural weight of that word, Dashal roughly translates to charlatanism or sorcery. But it means so much more than that in this context.
Right, it's not just doing parlor tricks.
No, it implies deep, systemic moral corruption. It means these are people who traffic in deception, manipulation, and extortion. They prey on superstitious fears to scam people. Being associated with a family of Dejaline is social suicide for a respected merchant like Ahmed.
And he also finds out Asmaa herself has a history of causing trouble. She was never this innocent, helpless victim she pretended to be. So he has this massive revelation. He realizes he's married a con artist. He confronts her.
And this is where a healthy person would say, I've been lied to, I'm getting an annulment, I'm done.
Exactly. You cut your losses.
But Asmaa is a master manipulator. When he confronts her with these explosive lies, she doesn't deny it. She spins it. She tells him, I only lied because I was terrified of losing you. I knew if you saw where I came from, you wouldn't love me.
Wow.
She weaponizes his own empathy. She traps him with guilt. She essentially says, you can't choose your family, and I need you to save me from them even more now.
And it works. Instead of running for the hills, he actually leans in. He starts fulfilling his promise to be the big provider. He starts fully supporting not just her, but her entire family, the very people he knows are scammers.
He becomes their financial host. And once that money is secured, the cycle of toxicity ramps up to the next level. She begins the isolation phase.
This is a classic abuser tactic.
Textbook. She wants to sever his ties to his previous life. Whenever he tries to visit his first wife or his 3 children, Asmaa explodes. And I don't mean she gets pouty. The testimonies describe extreme, violent rage. She believes she owned him entirely.
It's suffocating. But Ahmed does try to push back here, right? He tries to set some boundaries.
He does, and the moment he shows resistance, she goes nuclear. He tries to enforce a boundary, and Asmaa immediately goes straight to the police station. She files a formal report claiming that Ahmed beat her physically.
And she even brings a medical report to back it up.
A medical report that was completely fabricated. But think about the psychological terror here. For a man whose entire business and standing rely on his clean reputation in the community, having the police investigate him for domestic violence is his absolute worst nightmare.
It's a direct threat to his livelihood.
Exactly. Now, Ahmed does manage to prove the report is malicious.
Yeah.
He clears his name legally, but the damage is done. The humiliation is public, the community is talking. It's the final straw for him at that moment. He divorces her.
Okay, so that's the first divorce. He finally gets out.
But freedom isn't free with someone like Asmaa. She refuses to leave his life. She extorts him. She demands 250,000 Egyptian pounds just to walk away and leave him alone.
That is a staggering amount of cash to just hand over to an abuser.
It is. And Ahmed, out of sheer principle, refuses to pay it.
Uh,
But the harassment is so intense that his brother, who we know he's very close to his brother, steps in and pays the 250,000 out of his own pocket just to buy Ahmed's freedom, just to get this woman out of their family's life.
the brother pays the ransom.
He does.
So she has a fortune in cash, she's divorced, she's gone. You'd think, okay, hard lesson learned, but it's over.
If only. The peace barely lasts. Because despite the extortion, the fake police reports, the public humiliation, Asmaa starts calling him again.
And this is the part of the deep dive that will frustrate anyone listening. Because she lures him back.
She plays on his emotions perfectly. She tells him that all the crazy things she did, the police, the screaming, it was all just because she loved him so much. It was crazy, blinding jealousy.
And he buys it. After she took his brother's money.
He does. He remarries her.
I mean, we really have to break this down. Why does a smart, successful businessman walk right back into a burning building?
It's a combination of things. First, there's the sunk cost fallacy. He's already lost so much money and reputation on this relationship, his brain tricks him into thinking he needs to make it work to justify the losses. Second, there's shame. Admitting you were conned is deeply embarrassing. If he can somehow fix her, he proves he wasn't a fool.
He still thinks his love can cure the bad omen.
Exactly. And finally, the highs in the cycle of abuse are very addictive. When she apologized, she likely love-bombed him all over again, making him feel like a god who showed her mercy.
But mercy to a predator is just an invitation to take more. Because after this second marriage, the mask is completely gone. She doesn't even try to play the damsel anymore.
The relationship turns incredibly dark. She starts openly threatening him, and she hits him where it hurts the most. She threatens his children from his first marriage.
And she uses her family's reputation for this, right? She threatens to use Dashal, dark sorcery, against his kids.
Yes. Now, whether you believe in that or not, hearing your spouse threaten to use dark magic against your children is psychological terrorism. It proves she has absolute malice toward the people you love. And she doesn't stop there. She threatens physical violence. She tells him she will send Boltagia-hired thugs to attack him and his brothers.
She's threatening to bring street violence to his doorstep. He must have been living in constant fear. He was completely paralyzed. And it escalated to outright theft. One day, Ahmed comes back to their apartment, and it is empty. She has stolen all the furniture, cleaned the place out.
And the gaslighting that follows is almost unbelievable. When he confronts her about the stolen furniture, she apologizes and says, "My family forced me to do it. They made me take it so that you wouldn't be able to leave me."
Making herself the victim again.
Always the victim. And he forgives her. Again.
But the tension is just building. It's unsustainable. Which leads to the infamous window scene.
Right. This is pure, calculated public shaming. They're in the apartment, and she suddenly runs to the window, throws it open, and just starts screaming to the entire neighborhood that Ahmed is trying to kill her.
Even though he isn't touching her.
Not a finger on her.
Yeah.
It's pure theater designed to destroy his reputation in the neighborhood. She knows his weakness is public shame, and she leverages it mercilessly.
And this forces the second divorce. He has to cut ties again.
He does. But just like the first time, she retaliates. She unleashes a barrage of malicious police reports, not just against Ahmed this time, but against his brothers, too. She's sending a clear message. You cannot have peace unless you are with me. I will haunt you and your entire family.
And incredibly exhaustingly, he goes back a third time.
He returns for a third time. And at this point, it's not love. It's just sheer exhaustion.
Yeah.
He's a hostage trying to placate his captor so the torture will stop.
But every hostage situation eventually reaches a breaking point. For Ahmed, it wasn't the money, it wasn't the furniture, it wasn't even his own reputation. The line he finally couldn't let her cross involved his mother.
We are moving into the final timeline now, late 2025. Ahmed's mother suffers a major health crisis and is hospitalized.
This is a massive family emergency, and the contrast here is so stark. The case files note that Ahmed's first wife is at the hospital. She's sitting by the bed, caring for his mother, acting exactly how family should act in a crisis.
Showing loyalty.
Yeah.
But Asmaa refuses to let Ahmed go to the hospital.
She actually tries to stop a man from seeing his dying mother.
She tells him, point blank, that he shouldn't waste his money on his mother because he has 2 households to support. She shows zero empathy. None. To her, Ahmed's mother is just a drain on the resources that rightfully belong to Asmaa.
It's just incredibly cold. And when Ahmed decides he is going anyway,
She escalates to physical destruction to stop him. She takes a heavy object and completely smashes the windshield of his car so he can't drive to the hospital.
and that sound, the sound of the glass shattering, that is the moment the spell finally breaks for Ahmed.
It was his wake-up call.
Yeah.
He's looking at his smashed car, knowing his mother is in a hospital bed, and he's looking at this woman demanding money. He finally sees the truth that everyone else has seen for 4 years. She is never, ever going to change. She is a black hole.
So he divorces her, the third and final time, and this time it's absolute. The financial tap is turned off permanently.
The relationship is officially over.
Which brings us to a really eerie period in the case, the 10 days of silence.
Following that third divorce, there is a brief window of calm. For 10 days, Ahmed goes back to his normal life. He visits his mother. He spends time with his first wife. He goes to the shop. He probably felt this massive wave of relief, thinking he had finally survived the storm.
But you can't just lock the door on a bad omen. They find a way in. We are now back to the day of the murder, the scene we opened with.
This is a normal workday. Ahmed has already visited his mother that morning. He's at the shop. And significantly, his first wife and his son are actually present at the shop that day.
He's surrounded by his real family. And then Asmaa storms through the doors.
She's completely unhinged. She's screaming. She's cursing. She is deliberately trying to provoke a massive public confrontation.
But Ahmed doesn't take the bait. The evidence shows he tries to de-escalate. He turns his back and starts walking away from her, heading toward the accountant's office in the back.
And there's this detail that just breaks your heart. The accountant wasn't at his desk. He was in the back, praying. Ahmed was literally walking toward a place of peace.
But Asmaa didn't come for an argument. She came prepared.
She had a knife hidden in her clothes. She follows him, screaming insults in front of his staff, trying to get him to react, trying to get him to raise a hand so she can claim self-defense.
Finally, Ahmed turns around and approaches her, just trying to physically escort her out of the building.
She pushes him. He reaches out to restrain her hands to stop her from hitting him, and in that split second, she pulls the hidden knife.
And she stabs him directly in the chest, right there in the middle of his own shop, surrounded by his employees and family.
It's a fatal blow.
Yeah.
Ahmed stumbles backward, completely in shock. He makes his way out to the street, clutching his chest, and he collapses.
And we are back to that haunting moment where she just walks out behind him. She doesn't flee. She looks at the crowd, looks at the man she just destroyed, and she delivers this chilling line.
She tells them, "I did it so no one else could benefit from him."
It's the ultimate abuser's logic. If I can't have you, I will make sure nobody else can. He wasn't a human being to her. He was property.
But the sheer cold-blooded calculation doesn't end with the stabbing, because what she does next is arguably the most demonic part of the entire file.
Right. While Ahmed is bleeding out on the pavement, Asmaa leaves the scene and heads straight to the local police station. But before she walks in, she physically injures herself. She inflicts a wound on her own head.
She's manufacturing evidence. She walks into the station, bleeding from the head, and files a frantic report. But she doesn't claim Ahmed attacked her.
No, she targets the brother.
She accuses Ahmed's grieving brother of attacking her. She tells the police that the brother tried to kill her and that Ahmed died while trying to defend her from his own brother.
It is breathtakingly evil. She murders the man and then tries to send his innocent brother to prison for it.
And it almost worked. The police respond immediately. They arrive at the hospital where the brother is standing over Ahmed's body, completely shattered by grief. And the police move in to arrest him, because at that moment it's her bleeding face and her word against his.
But she made one massive mistake. She forgot about the unblinking eye in the corner of the shop. The CCTV camera.
That camera was the only thing that saved the brother. The police pull the footage from the shop, and the truth is right there in high definition.
It shows everything. It shows Asmaa entering aggressively. It shows her initiating the contact. It shows her pulling the knife and plunging it into Ahmed. And most importantly, it shows that the brother wasn't even in the room.
The footage absolutely destroys her narrative. It saves the brother from a life behind bars, but it couldn't save Ahmed.
When you look back at this whole timeline, the grooming in 2021, the fake medical reports, the extortion, the stolen furniture, the threats of sorcery, and finally the knife, it really makes you sit with that concept of Adam al-Shahawy.
It really does. Because we have this fundamental, hopeful belief that if we put good into the world, if we are generous and forgiving, we will be protected. Ahmed was a profoundly good man. He provided, he forgave, he tried to heal things.
But those virtues were exactly the vulnerabilities she exploited.
That's the terrifying reality.
Hmm.
The bad omen isn't a ghost or a curse. It's a real person who simply refuses to abide by the social contract. Ahmed kept waiting for her to act human. He kept waiting for her to feel shame or gratitude or empathy, but she was constitutionally incapable of those emotions. He was trying to play chess, and she was just burning the board.
He underestimated the sheer depth of her malice. He thought he could fix the unfixable, and it cost him his life.
It's a devastating tragedy.
But it's also a stark warning for anyone listening. We all have people who knock on the doors of our lives. Most of them bring good, but some of them are just absolute destruction wrapped in a victim's narrative. And sometimes the only way to save yourself is to recognize the bad omen and keep the door bolted shut.
Believe the red flags. If they bring chaos, don't try to fix them. Just walk away.
That's where we are going to wrap up this deep dive. It is an incredibly heavy case, but a vital one to understand. Pay attention to who you let into your inner circle, trust your instincts, and keep yourself safe out there. We will catch you on the next one.